South Pacific down to Fiji or whatever, if I go, I'm going to go for 4 weeks, 6 weeks at a time. Pay for all that airfare and travel time. You might as well stay for a while, okay? Well, when I come back from one of those trips, I don't immediately start trading. My God, usually when I land into Los Angeles International, I'm surprised to still see the lights on. Okay, when you go down to the South Pacific, I mean, you are so devoid. You're so devoid of information. And there are no televisions, radios, your cell phone doesn't work unless you have one of these, what do they call them, geosynchronous satellite phones. Okay, a cell phone doesn't work. So I haven't a clue. You know, it's amazing. I come back, oh, hey, they're all still there. Life is good. You know, I hope the cat's still home. You know, so you don't immediately start trading after that. It takes me a couple of weeks to catch back up on information and to start to feel this rhythm, this dance step, okay? And that's very, very important. So trading really, truly is double-edged. Once you start doing it, you got to keep it up, okay? How money is made and lost in the market? Well, this is a very interesting game, okay? Trading is almost a net sum zero game. In other words, for every dollar that I make, then Cy has lost a dollar. For every dollar Stephen makes, one of you guys has lost a dollar. If we put an edge on the trading world, ultimately somebody would have all the money. You've all seen these major world championship poker games, you know, where 100 people all come and they put down whatever it is, $50,000 or $200,000, and after a week or so, one guy walks out with it all. Okay, well that's how this would work. Now it's not perfectly net sum zero because there's what? Always new money coming into the market. There's always somebody who wants to add to this portfolio or take some out, so it's not perfect. But how is money made and lost? Well, it's real simple. And it's part of your social context that makes you not see it immediately. I want you to think about something. How many people here remember 1987, Black Monday? I think it was October 10th. The Dow Jones fell something like 21% in one day. People, if the Dow Jones falls 21% today, okay, we're looking for a major hit. You guys get excited when the Dow goes up 100 or 200 points, but that's only a 1% deal. The market would probably fall like 2,800 points. Imagine if you saw the Dow at 10,000 and you got up the next morning and it was at 7,500 or 6,000. Would that get your attention? You bet. Well, Mike, everybody was selling. Well, is that a valid statement? Can everybody sell? No. You can't sell unless you have a buyer. You need somebody to buy it from you if you want to be a seller. Well, who was buying in 1987 or in any of these other major dips? Who bought that stock? Well, the specialists, the market makers. Could we generalize and say the professional trader? Okay, and at the top, when the public was buying all the stock, who was selling it to them? The professional trader. So this starts to give you the first inkling into how this system works. Professional traders buy when prices are going down, and they sell when prices are going up. Who do they buy from? The public. Who do they sell to? The public. You guys are now professional traders. You may be fledgling, novice, baby traders, but you're professional traders. So you are going to buy when prices are going down from the public, and you're going to sell to the public when prices are going up. Now, obviously this has to be done with intelligence. Nobody's here to catch a falling knife. For gosh sakes, I'm not going to try to convince you to buy Enron. That price has gone down, okay? It's never coming back. Ready? So, but do you guys understand the concept here? Most people, they don't even think who they deal with. Oh, I want to buy some Academy and I get it. Where did I get it? I don't care, I just got it. Okay? But the professional trader probably sold it to them. It wasn't their brother-in-law, their sister didn't lend it to them. Where did they get it? A professional trader. And that's who we aspire to be. So this is how money is made and lost. We know more than the public does. I call the public Joe Lunchbucket, the unwashed investor. Okay? And thankfully, there's nobody named Joe in here in this class. I had one. It was grim. I kept saying, and Joe is a moron, and this guy kept glaring at me. You know, I'm sorry. I got to call them something, okay? But anyhow, Joe doesn't have a clue. I mean, Joe comes home from work and he turns on the television and somebody tells him to buy or somebody tells him to sell and he goes and does it. And why are they saying it? For his benefit or for theirs? They're saying it for theirs. Poor Joe doesn't stand a chance. The public is always behind the power curve. The public is always behind the knowledge curve. The public is always behind the execution curve. Okay? These are our advantages. The last thing is the paradigm shift from investing to trading. We've got to help you unlearn this social context education. What is a social context education? Well, it's how you perceive the world based on your schooling and your kindergarten and your primary and your high school and your college. It comes from your parents, how they treated you, what their mores and ethics were, your religious background, and to some extent even the food you eat influences how you perceive the world. Okay? Well, you got to get over some of this. The problem is the market uses English, but they use different concepts in the same words. Let me give you an example. Ken, you just bought 1,000 shares of Microsoft. Are you bullish on Microsoft? Yeah, he says yes. Do you guys think he's a bull? He bought 1,000 shares of Microsoft. Is he bullish on Microsoft? No. People, he's a bear. Okay? Think about it. The moment he bought the Microsoft, he became a worried seller. He's a downward pressure on the market. Now, in his mind, he may be bullish on Microsoft, but to us, to the rest of the market, he is a downward collapsing pressure. He could be the straw that breaks the proverbial camel's back. After all, if we looked at it from an aspect of a big pile of money, and we all put our hands over this pile, and then we watch each other very carefully, whoever grabs the money first gets the most, right? Whoever sells first is going to get the best price. Who sells second gets less money. Who sells third, fourth, fifth, sixth, it drops down. Now, somebody postulated this as kind of a cruel thing. They said there's always a higher sucker theory. Okay? How does it work? Well, he buys it for $8 and he sells it to him for $9. He takes it for $9 and sells it to him for $10. He takes the 10, sells it to the next guy for 11. The next guy buys it at 12, and he turns and tries to sell it for 13. But what happens? This person, Pauline in this case, okay, she says, I don't want to pay 13. I'll give you 12 and a half. Does everybody see how we're starting to reach the top? It went up $1, $1, now it's only up 50 cents. And she buys it for 12 and a half. And she turns and says, I'd like to sell it for 13. And he says, I'll give you 12. And she goes, well, let's see. I hope to make 13 on this, but I didn't want to pay a full dollar. I think I'll get out of this. So she sells it to him for 12. He sells it to him for 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, and the cycle repeats. Okay? But he who sells it at the highest price, okay, is going to get some money. Did she make money? No, she lost 50 cents. She bought it for $12.50 and sold it for 12. So the last winner was him in the corner. Okay? He's bought it for 12 and sold it for $12.50. Anyhow, that's how the cycle goes. That's how money is made. Now, we have to get you to shift from this. I assume everybody in here drives a car? Okay? If I had an 8-sided red sign, what's the word in the middle of that sign? Stop. Very good. Well, that's a driving context knowledge. What if the market were to flash up an 8-sided red sign what would you do? Would you hit the gas or would you hit the brakes? You'd hit the brakes, okay? But what if it meant go? So we got to teach you some of the terminology and some of the different concepts in the market because they're subtly different. And you may be reacting to the wrong symbol. That makes sense? So in essence, trading then becomes the study of mass behavior, okay? And then our internal behaviors and how those all affect price. Now, what we're looking for are repeating patterns. Now, nothing repeats perfectly, okay? A lot of people say this is a chaos, okay? It's not ordered. And what is chaos? Well, chaos is defined as abehavioral, non-repeating patterns. Huh? Well, let me give it to you as an analogy. Not everybody here golfs, but I think you'll get the point. If you were a golfer and you were a member of a specific golf club and you played golf on that golf course every day of your life, you've already made your millions in the market, you're a hot trader, you got plenty of time and you love the game of golf, and you play around every day, 18 holes. Well, people, you never make the same shot twice. You make very similar shots, but there's always variables that are different. You're standing on the first tee with your favorite club, your favorite kind of golf ball, the same tee at the same location. But this morning you had ham and eggs for breakfast, yesterday you had pancakes. Today the bird is chirping in the tree on the right, yesterday there was no bird. Today the humidity is 85%, yesterday it was 65%. The wind's out of the north, the wind's out of the west, you get my point. Okay, that there's always variables that you cannot control, so you're not making the same shot. Okay, but are the shots similar enough that we could set up the same way? Yes, and unless the conditions are really bad, now it's a 30-mile-an-hour wind out of the west, we wouldn't even change clubs. You know, unless there was dramatic change, we would still use the same skills and determination and plan to get the ball down the fairway or make the trade. You ready? Now, people, I have to tell you right up front, this is a risky business, okay? You can lose all of your money. In fact, you can lose more than all of your money if you do it on margin and you do it foolishly. Let's talk for a moment about what risk capital is. First off, risk capital is certainly not money taken out on a credit card. Risk capital is not your children's education funds. Okay, it's not a second mortgage on your house. It might be a piece, but not all of your retirement plans. So what is risk capital? It's the money that you could start a new venture. And like I say, whether it be a Ben & Jerry's ice cream store, an appliance repair, or a trading business, that you could lose this money. I won't say without regret, but it wouldn't change your quality of life. Now, I know nobody would do this, but theoretically, you should be able to take $10,000, $20,000, whatever, okay, change it into $1 bills, drive down the freeway, and every 5 seconds throw a couple bills out the window. And at the end of the trip, have nothing and say, okay, well, that wasn't fun, but I'll still have dinner tonight. That's what risk capital is. Now, I don't want you people to throw money out the window. I don't want you to be foolish with it. I want you to treat it with respect. You got to learn to honor money. But that is the downshot. What if it doesn't work out? What if you opened a Ben & Jerry's ice cream store in Nome, Alaska in the winter, and you, in your wisdom, chose your ice cream of the month to be Liver Ripple, and you don't sell any ice cream, okay? Well, is that going to destroy you? If it is, then don't open that store. You got to be able to let that money go and hopefully make better choices.